In this video, we're going to be looking at the top 3 chess traps from the Ruy Lopez opening. But before I get into the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. I release weekly content and you really wouldn't want to miss out. Anyways, enjoy the video. The Ruy Lopez opening is a very popular opening. It starts with 5 moves: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop b5. Contrary to the other popular opening, the Italian opening with bishop to c4, white plays bishop to b5, putting pressure on this knight. A popular response is knight f6, which is the Berlin defense, which says you can take my knight and then attack my pawn, but then I will attack your pawn back. Here, white in fact gambits a pawn with castles. We can see white willingly gives up the pawn after knight takes e4 because there's lots of compensation after d4. The idea is after e takes, there's rook e1, and later on in the game, this pin is going to be very annoying. So we see black play d5. Immediately, white can recapture their pawn with takes, takes, then we can see knight or queen takes, or they can immediately take back with the knight or queen because this knight is pinned. We see queen takes d4, centralizing the queen and maybe later on in the game adding more pressure against this knight with possible rook sacrifices. And remember that black cannot take this queen because the knight is pinned. However, they can play a6, which looks to unpin the knight and then later on in the game threaten the queen. So white plays captures. After captures, we see a beautiful move, knight to g5, taking advantage of this pin against the knight on e4. Remember that it is pinned along the e file. Here we see queen to f6, looking to trade off the queens, and then in the end unpin the knight. Another threat is possibly queen takes or knight takes later on in the game against pressure on this f2 pawn. However, white is threatening f3. But first, we see a beautiful move. It's a queen sacrifice out of nowhere. We can see that white's queen is hanging. However, they do play knight takes e4. The idea is that if black does choose to take the free queen with queen takes d4, there is knight f6. The only move to stop this double check is king to d8, and we see rook to d8. Rook to e8, checkmate. So now let's go back a couple of moves and imagine that black did not capture the free queen and did in fact calculate correctly. So we can see here after knight takes e4, the best move is in fact d takes e4, and after queen takes e4, double stacking against the king, the position is still completely winning for white. After bishop e7 to block, there's another beautiful move. We see bishop to g5. The idea is that if black does in fact move their queen anywhere, for example, queen to d6, we just pick up the free bishop. If they capture this free bishop, there is queen to take c6, and the rook will be lost because white is forking the king and the rook. The final thing they can do is block by playing queen to e6, which looks to shut down the play on the e file. However, we can still pick up the bishop, and after takes and takes, we see white is completely winning up a piece. So now let's go back a couple of moves. And imagine here, after white plays captures, there are in fact two other responses that are not bishop blocks. There is king to d8, which is immediately a checkmate for white after queen to e8, and king to d7. We still play queen to e8 here, and after king to d6, rook to d1, and king to c5, as we can imagine, it is completely lost for black There is in fact a forced checkmate sequence in 5 moves here. For white, I'd recommend you try pausing the video and seeing if you find the solution. However, by computer line, it is queen to e3, king to b4, queen to b3, king to c5, bishop to e3, queen to d4. Black is forced to block with their queen, and after rook to d4, there's nothing you can do to stop the discovered attacks. So for example, no matter what black plays, for example h6, we can put our rook anywhere along the d file. For example, rook to d1, and this is checkmate. So as we saw, the Ruy Lopez, while it looks like a solid opening, it can get very tricky if black does accept the free pawn way back at the start. That's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching.